Let's just jump right into this explainer, okay? Today, we're tearing down that whole get-rich-quick myth around day trading. We've dug deep into industry data, read through trader memoirs, and we're going to track the brutal 10-level life cycle of a day trader. It's a crazy journey. We're starting with a super ambitious 19-year-old and going all the way up to a Wall Street titan. And look, we're not just tallying up the financial milestones here. We're looking at the intense psychological and personal tolls paid along the way. Because it really isn't just about the money. It's about who you have to become to actually get that money. So I want you to literally put yourself in this beginner's shoes. You're 19, sitting in some cramped dorm room that probably smells like instant noodles. It's 2 a.m. Your roommate is completely passed out, but you're wide awake. Your face is just glued to the glow of your laptop screen, absolutely hypnotized by a video of some guy grinning in a flashy sports car, bragging about how he just made thousands of dollars in a single afternoon. And right there, in the quiet of the night, you decide, I want that. I want that life more than absolutely anything else. You pull up our brokerage app and you deposit your entire net worth. All of it. $400. Sure, it's just the checking account your grandma set up for you, but in your mind, this is your golden ticket. You're literally shaking with adrenaline when you buy that first stock. By lunch, you're up $11, and wow, you feel like an absolute genius. But then, by dinner, you're down $6, and you panic sell the whole thing. You've just stepped into a wild, highly dangerous game where, honestly, at the start, nobody can tell the difference between actual skill and just pure blind luck. And that brings us to Section 1, the $400 illusion. Fast forward a bit to your sophomore year. Guess what? That beginner's luck you were riding, it completely evaporates. You watch $800 just vaporize down to $90 in, 2 hours? It's devastating. But this exact blowout forces a massive mental shift, because the data points to one profound truth. The amateur is always out there chasing the massive wins, but the survivor knows better. After a loss like that, you stop watching the sports car videos. You finally realize that the folks who actually last in this market aren't the ones hitting home runs every day. They're the ones violently protecting their money by losing small. Protecting your capital becomes the only thing that matters. You start to figure out that the market was never the real enemy. The enemy was you. It was your greed, your fear, your anger. So what do? You physically write down these rigid, honestly kind of boring survival rules and tape them straight to the bottom of your monitor. Never risk more than 1% on a trade. Never trade just to get revenge on a loss. And slowly, painfully, you rebuild that tiny account, taking small, calculated trades, and totally ignoring your friends who tell you you're completely wasting your college years. This crosses over into the professional realm, leading us right into Section 2, surviving the market. Okay, so by graduation, you've somehow scraped together $1,000. You turn down that safe, predictable office job, totally disappointing your family, by the way, to pay for a prop firm challenge. Basically, it's a test to prove you have what it takes to trade their institutional money. And man, the transition is brutal. Attempt number 1, you break a rule and instantly fail. Attempt 2, you take a loss, get completely emotional, double down to win it back, blow right through your daily limit, and fail again. But on that third try, something clicks. Something fundamentally changes inside you. You stop trying to get rich. You start treating it like a boring, repetitive desk job. You literally get up and walk away from the screen the second you feel anger bubbling up. And guess what? In 6 weeks, you pass. You finally earn the right to trade $100,000 of the firm's money. So you're a full-time professional now, but the reality looks absolutely nothing like that sports car dream. You're spending 10 hours a day completely isolated in a computer chair in a tiny apartment. No coworkers, no real weekends off, because your brain is already obsessing over the market opening on Monday. And as you sit there, missing vacations, missing regular life events, you realize just how true the old saying is. The technical charts, the trend lines, that stuff is actually easy. Mastering the paralyzing fear and blinding greed inside your own head, that's the real exhausting battle. Now let's shift gears to Section 3, entering the big leagues. Thanks to your relentless consistency, a legit proprietary trading firm out in Chicago catches wind of your track record. So you and your new wife, Sarah, pack up your whole life and move to the city. But the second you step onto that electric, chaotic trading floor with all the shouting and the glowing monitors, you are humbled fast. You're put under the wing of this veteran trader named Vince, and he teaches you the absolute most valuable lesson of your entire career. You watch him take a massive, gut-wrenching loss, and he just calmly closes his laptop. No yelling, no slamming desks. You realize right then that staying perfectly calm after taking a financial beating isn't just some lucky personality quirk. It is a highly trainable skill, and mastering that skill is literally the only thing that keeps you alive in that room. Over the years, your climb up the ranks is just wild. You go from managing your own fragile ego in a dorm room to sitting as a senior trader in Chicago. Now, you're the guy managing the risk of all the hot-headed junior traders, telling them to size down exactly like Vince used to tell you. You're making serious money now. You buy the beautiful house in the suburbs. On paper, you have completely won the game. But here's the thing. The market is incredibly jealous. It demands all of you. You're working more hours than you ever have in your life. Then, one afternoon, Sarah sends you a video on your phone. It's your newborn son taking his very first steps, right in the living room that your trading screens paid for. But you aren't there. You couldn't step away from the desk because the market was closing. You watch that video alone in your office and you just break down and cry. It's your first real, unavoidable look at the devastating trade-off you've made. The stakes get even higher here in Section 4, Managing Fear and Millions. After 15 grueling years on the desk, you leave the prop firm. You're launching your very own hedge fund with $12 million of other people's money. And wow, when the money belongs to someone else, the entire game changes. You aren't just a day trader anymore. You're a business managing this complex, spinning ecosystem of pure anxiety. Your investors are terrified of market drops. Your employees are terrified of bad positions. And you're waking up at 3 a.m. just staring at the ceiling in the dead silence, crushed by the pressure of holding people's life savings in your hands. And there's no one above you to tell you to size down anymore. You're completely on your own. Then, the ultimate test hits. A brutal market crash wipes out 30% of the market in a matter of weeks. Pure panic everywhere. Legacy funds are just vanishing overnight. But your fund? Yours survives. Why? Because you never forgot that sticky note from your dorm room all those years ago. Protect the money before you try to grow it. You were hedged. And when the dust finally settles, your original capital is completely dwarfed by this flood of new money. Terrified investors flock to your fund for safety, and you actually triple your assets in a single year. Suddenly, you're managing hundreds of millions. By the time you're 48, you are managing over $2 billion. $2 billion. You're practically a weather system now. When you buy, the market moves, simply because you are the one buying. But listen, the market always demands respect. On just a random Tuesday, a position goes wildly against you. You lose $90 million in a single morning. $90 million. That's more money than most people could even comprehend in 1,000 lifetimes. You keep your face completely frozen during the team meeting, but the second it's over, you have to run and hide in the bathroom just so nobody sees you flinch. Which brings us to our final era, Section 5, the ultimate trade. You are 62 years old now, a genuine Wall Street titan. Beginners study your old trades the exact same way you used to study those charts at 2 a.m. Your fund manages tens of billions of dollars, and honestly, it basically runs on autopilot without you. You've stepped back from the daily grind. You literally have everything money can buy. But sitting in that massive, beautiful office, staring out at a skyline view you don't even really see anymore, there is this profound emptiness. You finally realize the screens were never actually about the money. They were about the thrill, about feeling alive right on the razor's edge of a decision. And that thrilling, all-consuming fight, you can't even participate in it anymore. And this final tally reveals the hidden human cost of it all. Look, the wealth gained is absolutely staggering. Billions of dollars, giant estates, a financial legacy that will last for generations. Your marriage even survived. Scarred, sure, but still standing. But then, look at the time lost. Your grown son chose a super quiet, low-stress career, and he barely even speaks to you. You missed his school games. You missed his childhood. And the brutal, undeniable truth is, no amount of billions can buy back even one single missed ordinary Tuesday with your kid. In those quiet, lonely hours, you think back to that guy in the sports car who sold you the dream. He was probably totally broke anyway, right? You think about all the broken men who sat next to you on the trading floor and washed out over the decades. You were the one with the discipline. You had the sheer refusal to quit. But now you are forced to ask yourself, what did this relentless, consuming survival actually cost you? Was the ultimate trade really worth it in the end? Because the most haunting part of all of this, the market doesn't care about your reflection or your regrets. Right now, somewhere out there in the world, it is 2 a.m. all over again. A new 19-year-old is sitting in a dark dorm room. His hands are shaking as he deposits $400 into an app on his phone. He genuinely thinks this is the secret that will finally make him rich. He thinks this is going to make him free. He has absolutely no idea what it's going to cost him or who he'll have to become just to survive. The cycle just keeps spinning. So I have to leave you with this question. Looking at the true price of extreme success, would you still make the deposit?